I suppose that an old curmudgeon like me might claim that there exists a pervasive cultural script for ageing, one that prescribes quieter pursuits, slower paces, and a gradual retreat from the thrill-seeking of earlier years. A narrative of rocking chairs, not ride-outs, of cautious stability, and not the liberating lean into a curve. Yet on the open road, a growing number of silver-haired riders and no-haired riders are actively rewriting the script. For them, for us, motorcycle riding in older age is not an act of defiance, but one of affirmation, a powerful continuation of a life lived fully, proving that the spirit of adventure needs no expiration date. Far from being a reckless endeavour, riding a motorcycle in one's later years can be a profound source of physical and cognitive vitality. The act of riding is a full body engagement. It requires core strength to maintain posture, balance to handle the machine at low speeds and through turns, and fine motor skills to coordinate clutch, throttle and brakes. This constant low impact engagement helps maintain muscle tone, joint flexibility and reflexes. And more significantly, it's a demanding cognitive exercise. As riders, we have to be hyper aware, constantly scanning the road for hazards, predicting the actions of other drivers and processing a stream of sensory information. And this state of active awareness is a powerful antidote to mental stagnation, keeping the mind sharp, focused, and firmly rooted in the present moment. Beyond the tangible physical benefits lies the profound psychological nourishment that the ride provides. At a stage of life when marked by loss of career identity, of family members, of certain physical faculties, the motorcycle offers a strong sense of agency and freedom. On our bikes, we are pilots, not passengers. The destination, the route and the pace are dictated by us and us alone. And this reclaiming of control is incredibly empowering. And furthermore, the motorcycle community itself can become a vital social lifeline. The shared passion for two-wheel travel creates bonds that can transcend generations and make for new friendships and allegiances. Of course, to embrace the wind in one's later years requires an acknowledgement of one's own evolution. The wise older rider, a bit like myself, understands that adaptation is not a concession but a strategy for survival. And this may mean parting company with heavy, powerful motorcycles and adopting the more manageable world of mid-range, mid-power adventure bikes, modern classics and tourers. A lesson recently which I was retaught in rather unfortunate circumstances. Ultimately, the image of an older motorcyclist is a powerful metaphor for successful aging. It represents a refusal to be defined by a number and a rejection of the societal expectation to simply slow down. The rumble of the engine is a declaration that the journey is not over. The worn leather or textile jacket, the map of routes travelled etched into a battle-scarred face, and the eyes that still sparkle with the reflection of a disappearing horizon. These are some of the marks of a life still being lived with passion. The road, after all, does not care about the age of the traveller, it only answers to the willingness to explore it. And for those who choose to ride into their golden years, the motorcycle becomes more than just a machine. It is a time machine that revives the spirit of youth, a therapist's couch that clears the mind, and a steadfast companion on the continuing adventure of life. We understand that while the body may age, the self that yearns for freedom, wind and the open road is ageless. And with that in mind, we two-wheeled silverbacks must seek every opportunity to ride the wild places, and there are few of those to equal the restorative qualities of riding the Yorkshire Dales. Over the years, I've ridden much of what God's County has to offer, and of course, I have my favourites. And one such is the road from Hawes to Buckden via the charming village of Gale. This road takes us over Fleet Moss and is an epic road in whichever direction you take it. It is both bleak yet beautiful and sublime. To the casual traveller speeding through the Yorkshire Dales, the high ground between Wharfdale and Wensleydale might appear as a mere expanse of moorland to be traversed quickly. But to name it is to begin to understand it. Fleet Moss. The very words sound like the environment they describe. Fleet suggesting something swift, fleeting, or a shallow stream, and moss, the ancient waterlogged peat that carpets the earth. This is not a landscape that invites casual admiration. It is a place of confrontation, a vast, treeless plateau that offers a raw, unmediated experience where the enduring spirit of the Yorkshire Dales is etched not in picturesque valleys but in the face of the wind and the vast expanse of an open sky. Rising to over 1900 feet, Fleet Moss is one of the highest points in Yorkshire. Its geography is one of elemental simplicity and power. It's a world sculpted not by gentle hands but by the relentless forces of ice, water and wind. The last glaciers carved its broad, sweeping shoulders, leaving behind a landscape of exposed gritstone and millstone, covered by a deep layer of peat. Here, the horizon is a distant, often blurred line, and the sky dominates, a colossal dome of shifting weather. The wind is a constant presence, a force that can whisper with a chilling loneliness or roar with an elemental fury, scouring the land and shaping every living thing. To ride here is to feel profoundly small, exposed to the raw power of nature in a way that is both humbling and at once exhilarating. But it's not a barren wasteland. Fleet Moss supports a fragile and highly specialised ecosystem, a living tapestry of peat bog, heather and cotton grass. In late summer, The heather blooms, and a transient beauty that belies the harshness of the environment evolves before our eyes. The peat itself is a historical archive preserving pollen grains and remnants of ancient forests, telling a story of climate that changed and a landscape that was gradually deforested by early human settlers. This environment is a vital carbon sink and a reservoir, the source of the Ouse and the Ure, rivers that give life to the valleys far below. Yet it bears the scars of human use. Peat cuttings and the faint haunting lines of old drove roads remind us of a time when this challenging pass was a vital artery for farmers moving livestock between the dales. The human relationship with Fleet Moss is one of grit and perseverance. The road that crosses it here, the infamous minor road between Hawes and Buckden, is one of the highest and most exposed in England. To ride it is to undertake a pilgrimage of sorts. For motorcyclists, it's a legendary ride, and also a test of endurance and determination. Conquering its gradients in the face of unpredictable weather is a badge of honour, and for the few farmers who work this land, it's a life of constant adaptation. The sheep, the hardy Swalesdales and Dalesbred, seemingly the only creatures truly at home in this bleak magnificence. The scattered, crumbling remains of field barns stand as melancholy monuments to this tough, unyielding way of life. To call Fleet Moss beautiful in the conventional sense is to somewhat miss the point. To my mind, it possesses a different quality altogether. The quality of the sublime. It doesn't charm, it overwhelms. Its beauty lies in its austerity, its scale, its timelessness. It's a landscape that demands a certain kind of attention, rewarding the rider not with comfort, but with a profound sense of clarity. In the silence broken only by the wind and the cry of the curlew, you can feel a connection to an older, wilder place. Fleet Moss is the untamed heart of the Yorkshire Dales. It's a reminder that true wilderness is not about grandeur, but resilience. It is a place that refuses to be tamed, a vast open space that challenges the body, yet restores the spirit. To ride Fleet Moss is to understand that the soul of this land is not only in its charming villages and green valleys, but just as powerfully in the bleak, beautiful and enduring emptiness of these high moors. A motorcycle ride across Fleet Moss is a sure way for the older rider to feel for a short while the return of the flushes of youth and to the rapture of nature. I'll see thee.